We're going to look at the app Explain Everything, plus in the top left-hand corner. Pick your background color. There are some functions or tools down the left-hand side. There are also some across the bottom. This right here is your pencil tool, and you can just draw on the screen with your finger. The color of the pencil is set by these squares on the bottom of the screen. Now the interesting thing about Explain Everything, if I hold any of those squares down, you get a pop-up and you can choose another option. This right here is kind of like a delete function and highlights some of the things that I've done, all of those lines, and I'm just going to get rid of it. There's also a text box, which is right here. So I go on the screen and I can type. The tool that I'm using is this laser pointer, which allows you to highlight things on the screen. If you hold down the laser pointer, there's some different options, arrows, different size of laser pointer. Up at the top, there is a picture of a finger touching the screen. If I click that and now go back to my word hello, I'm just moving it around with one finger. But with two fingers, when you pull them apart, it stretches out the text. And with the two fingers, you can rotate the text. So this is kind of handy if you need to resize something or move it around on your screen. This function right here allows you to add either a photo, which should be on the iPad, a file, a new picture, which is over on the right hand side. You can use your iPad to physically take a picture of a piece of work. Maybe it's the work that the student has done, or if they need to record a video. This right here is kind of like an undo function, like on Microsoft Word, so you can click and go back. And at the bottom of the screen, we can see right now that there is only one slide. If you needed to add more slides, this would be the tab right here. And on the bottom here are the record functions. This is your record button. This is your timeline, so you can see how many seconds or minutes you've used. And then right here, this is your microphone. If you tap it, it unmutes. Tap it again, it goes back to mute. If you are making a recording and you do not want audio, or for some reason it's too noisy, maybe you're in the classroom, you can mute it, and that way the background noise won't be there. The bottom right hand corner, we have some of our exporting tools. The first one is to export if you want to take a picture of what you've done. You can either put it to camera roll, or you've got some options with Google Drive. If it's a movie that you've done, then this is how you can export the movie. If you're not done with the project, you can export the project and then come back and do some editing later. And then finally, if we use the home button, this allows you to save the project. So just a different way of doing it. What we're going to do is bring in a piece of student's work. In this case, I've taken it with the iPad, so it's on the photo roll or camera roll. And we're going to do some descriptive feedback on the piece of work that a student has done. First way we can do it is by physically writing on the screen. For this question, they're supposed to be finding the volume. They just simply wrote down 2 times 4 times 8. They didn't include the units of centimeters. So we can write. Now, if they had included their units in the calculation, they probably would have realized that right here, volume is in centimeters cubed. So we've written a couple of comments on here, and then what we would do is give this back to the student. So in the bottom corner, we can click export the image. It's just a picture. Export it to camera roll. Sometimes when you have a solution from a student, it might not be easy for you to be writing comments on the screen. So what you can do is a video recording with a narration and highlighting things on the screen. There's a record button. Now I'm going to do a narration, which means I need to have the microphone turned back on. And I'm going to give a video audio recording of some descriptive feedback. So I click record. Okay, see what you've done. You have 2 times 4 times 8 written down. And you've gotten your length, your width, and your height. You've counted them from the block that's here. Now, what I would really like to see you do is, instead of just writing 2 times 4 times 8, I'd like to see 2 centimeters times 4 centimeters times 8 centimeters. Your number down here of 64 is correct, but for volume is not in units of centimeters, it's in centimeters cubed. So I think next time, if you had included the units in the calculation, you would have remembered that centimeters times centimeters times centimeters would give you the proper unit of centimeter cubed. Now when I'm done the recording, I can click pause. I would like to export this, and I can move it to camera roll. Depending on the size of the video you've just recorded, it might take a minute or two for it to save to the camera roll. So let's just go and have a look. We'll go into Photos. And here is the picture that we took. Bottom corner, there is an AirDrop function. You can send that back to them. And the same thing with the video. And again, depending on the size of the video, it might take a little while for it to send back and forth. And that is a method of doing descriptive feedback with an iPad and with Explain Everything.